Hey everybody, Roger here. I want to talk to you guys today about some pretty hypocritical, or not really hypocritical, sorry, ignorant items regarding Africa. And regarding a lot of this apparent movement towards everybody having this love for Africa all of a sudden and wanting to know their roots all of a sudden with extreme passion. It's just kind of exploded. Again, this isn't everyone. This is more or less people who... This is more or less fair weather admirers, I guess. So, I don't think I can ever pinpoint down exactly what I'm talking about here, but I think you get the gist. It's not everybody I'm accusing this of, but it is a good portion. So where I'm going with this is this. There is three things I want to talk about. The Black Panther movie and two issues going on in Africa right now. So let's start off with the Black Panther movie. As a lot of you know, probably all my subscribers have already seen my video, What Does Black Panther Mean to Me? It was a hash out of the, it was basically just a, my own personal LOL at the, at how people are admiring this movie while ignoring other aspects of of what's going on in Africa. Okay, so everybody's living in this fantasy world right now. You know, there's three big things going on in Africa. There is the Libyan slave trade that's going on, caused by yours truly, Obama and Hillary Clinton, you know, assassinating Muammar Gaddafi, and sent Libya into a state where now it's you know, a lot of Africans from around Africa, young men particularly, will travel to make the trip to travel to Libya in seek of European refuge and or whatever other promises that they could probably get a better life. So we have that going on right now, but people would rather be focused on the Black Panther movie, you know, thinking, oh my God, what that stupid ass, selfish, very ignorant hashtag, what does Black Panther mean to me, really bugged the shit out of me, and I made it known in my video about that, and it still bugs me to this day, and it's only bugging me because of this. I see the discrepancy going on in regards to, okay, so 3 YouTube channels that I have seen, 3 YouTube channels that individually, each of those channels had covered both the Libyan slave trade and the Black Panther movie phenomenon. Now, when you look at the views and the comment counts of these videos, you're able to see, okay, so like there was one in particular who had 185,000 views for their Black Panther content video, and then regarding the Libyan slave trade, only about 5,000 to 6,000. Now, can you tell me where, and again, I hate to pinpoint an ethnicity here, or a race, but can you tell me where the majority black population is actually focusing their efforts on? It's not about their brothers, and you know, their brothers being sold off into slavery in the Libyan slave trade. No, it's about the fantasy that is all, you know, Black Panther. You know, my Wakanda.
Link wants to have a dance off, my brother. Show him your moves. Show him your moves, brother. Show him your moves. Oh yes, it's a dance off, my brother.
Look at this, brother.
Oh my
goodness,
God,
my brother. Oh,
Wakanda
yes,
Knuckles versus the Link.
he has 20 years of Wakandan dance lessons.
What do you know about this, my brother?
Oh,
Oh yes, my brother. yes, my brother. He's gonna
Yes,
fuck Zelda
brother.
like that, my brother.
oh my goodness.
Yes, you got nothing against this, do you? 1 winning for Wakanda, 0 for you.
Whatever. Again, it's awesome that this movie is doing great. I hope the movie is good. I do plan on watching it. I plan on watching it when, probably as a rental, or maybe I'll just torrent it. Who knows? But, anyways, I will be watching it. I don't like Marvel movies in general. They're ruining it all, and again, it has nothing to do with racism. I don't like any of the Marvel movies. They're all an atrocity to what the comics are. That out of the way, let's go ahead and continue on. I do think that, you know, that these channels and the people who watch them and the people who are commenting on them are not really focused on the right things. You know, apparently people are selfish these days, and they want to use this movie as a tool for their, you know, for self-recognition. You know, and that's fine and dandy, but why don't you look at the real problems going on right now, something that you can actually do about it? You have all the tools in the world at this point. You have internet, you can be a content creator, you can, you know, go and be an investigator if you want, read more about and study more about what's going on with your African brothers, you know, and I for one will point it out all the time. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's an atrocity. I do blame the Obama administration in large part to what's going on out there. Now, granted, slavery is happening all over the world. It's not talked about much. And also, too, CNN apparently had the footage, the initial footage that came out of this slave trade happening. The problem with that, though, is this. They did not release this footage immediately. And so, yeah, you know, they might be getting the credit. Oh, you know, we care about what's going on. But in reality, if they really cared, this would have been instant news as soon as they got that coverage. It wasn't. Does CNN really care about the Libyan slave trade? Absolutely not. This probably wasn't even supposed to be uncovered in general. So, again, CNN doesn't give a shit about you. People who actually support MSM, they don't. They care about, you know, making the money, and whatever sells and whatever is going to influence their current dying audience to stay on board, like that last ditch effort of the CNN town hall, where, you know, they callously allowed people who were grieving within days of losing people to be on a panel, letting their emotions run wild. It's ridiculous, and it's sad. It's a very disgusting way of journalism and coverage. Granted, those were willing participants, and but again, feelings were hyper. Feelings took over the town hall over sanity. So, anyways, that's one issue that I have here is people are focused too much on Fantasyland movies and personal and playing cosplay with, you know, with African garb and everything, you know, but they're not really focused on the real issues. God, I really hope people can see what I'm talking about here. I think some of you do. I think the majority of you do. There are those few who are ignorant who think, oh, no, you're just racist because you don't like the movie and it's the first time blacks had this and that. No, get over yourselves. And also that stupid ass Oscars segment with I forget who the second lady is, but the other one is Maya from Saturday Night Live. She's like, oh, you know, is the Oscars too black nowadays?
We are so happy to be here, but a little nervous too, because a few years ago, people were saying that Oscars were so white. And since then, some real progress has been made.
Mm-hmm. But when we came out together, we know some of you were thinking, are the Oscars too black now?
Give me a fucking break, people. You're getting just annoying. You're getting too PC. Anyways, okay, so the second thing that's going on in Africa is this. In South Africa, there's white genocide. There's a leader out there, or a lot of people, basically voting at this point to take land away, farming land away from white farmers. In the midst of this all, white people, I could be wrong on my stats here, but I think it's somewhere in the numbers of 10,000 to 30,000 white people, farmers, families, young kids, women, men have been brutally murdered, and nobody's making a stink out of this. Granted, we have this type of stuff going on all the time, but I mean, these are the two issues in Africa that are going on right now that nobody's talking about. Hardly anybody is talking about. Hardly anybody is covering. These are real issues, and you know, again, it goes back to history has taught us. We have the tools these days to understand the atrocities of the past and to not repeat them. Right now, it's being repeated. Yes, you know, there may have been whites who have had slaves back in the day. There may have been, there are also all races who have had slavery, or the majority, almost all races have had slavery. Almost all of them, and by the millions. I'm not talking about just a limited amount of time. Look throughout history. To go ahead and just try to take away land from people, just to try to give something back to another race or whatever, is not the way to go about things. I mean, maybe there could be some sort of a program set up for a scenario like this, but not murdering. I mean, this is, God, wow. Katie Hopkins, you're doing an excellent job covering this and making, and that statement that you made about what's going on down there, I really hope it gets covered a lot more than what it is right now. So, with all of that said, I think the issues here are this. In America, we live in a cursed society. Almost everybody is really convinced that they, regardless of effort, that they have a right to live, that they are to be taken care of, they are to be worshipped, and not ever have a problem in their lives. Whether it means, you know, if you make fun of the Black Panther movie and hurt somebody's feelings is a far bigger issue, and will be, you know, will probably be monitored by Twitter than the Libyan slave trade, than the Africa genocide of white individuals. I don't understand the politic priority in this day and age anymore. It's getting beyond me. It's getting really detestable. I want to know what you guys think. Is this, am I overreacting here? Yeah, I mean, I understand that people need entertainment. I think it's a pretty big milestone that Black Panther has done so well. Rooting for it, but doesn't mean I'm going to like the movie. I didn't like any of the Marvel movies. Maybe X-Men, the newer version of the X-Men was probably the exception. And I'm a big X-Men fan. I am. So anyways, what are you guys' thoughts? I really hope that this video highlights the hypocrisy of people thinking that they're all about, you know, oh, African this, African that, but yet they're not, you know, again, according to the video viewer count, they're not paying attention to the real issues going on in Africa. They're not, you know, they're doing it for posing. Americans are doing this, and they're posing with the issue, and they're milking it. You know, they're happy that this movie's doing successful. Great. I don't see how that's saving lives. I don't see how that's saving the lives of and the slavery that's going on. You know, I've even watched man on the street videos in Africa where this guy, in one particular instance, was you know, just going out in the streets asking men and women, hey, you know, do you know about what's going on in Libya? Would you make the trek out there? Would you? Why or why not? There were some people that said yes, some people that said no, and you know, a lot of people, one of the main reasons is because of the fact that in certain parts of Africa, there's a lot of people who are living in poverty. There is no way for them to get by, and they're desperate enough to make that trek out to Libya and eventually risk getting bought and sold in that market.
So obviously, if I can get the goods in Libya, why not?
So you might still go to Libya in spite of all of this, if you think you'll get the goods in Libya?
Yes. If I feel there are opportunities for me that are not available here in this country, and I have the money to prosecute such expedition, I'll go.
You'll go?
Yeah.
You're not scared of being sold?
No, I can't be. If I have the money to prosecute. The truth of the fact that all these people who are being sold, they are not following due process. Do you understand? Now, if you have the money to travel legitimately, you might not get involved in these assholes. So that's it.
But why do you think Nigerians are still going? Just because of the greener pastures? That's just...
Yeah. Bad governance, you see. The platforms we need are not existing in our country presently. Corruption, everything, sure you get. So that's it.
And these platforms are in Libya?
Possibly. I've not been there. I can't be so certain. But possibly. For anyone to venture to get out of Nigeria, the person is obviously seeking what? For a place of comfort, a better place, so to speak. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So it looks like that young man still wants to go to Libya in spite of all the stories that we have heard about the African country.
Guys, It's enough about our personal issues.
For anyone to venture to get out of Nigeria, the person is obviously seeking what? For a place of comfort, a better place.
It's enough about our personal issues.
For anyone to venture to get out of Nigeria, the person is obviously seeking what? For a place of comfort, a better place.
It's enough about our personal issues.
It's disgusting. It's sad. These are real issues, people. Not the fucking Black Panther. What does Black Panther mean to me? Crap. You know, even if it was a Captain America, what does Captain America mean to me? It's fucking bullshit. It's a fucking comic. The only people winning here, the only things that are winning here are this: your ego and Marvel Disney. That's it. Nobody else is winning. It's all a cop out. It's all a you know, I rarely watch movies these days. I rarely watch television shows. I'm so glad I didn't tune into the Oscars. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And I will be covering that in another video. I've watched some highlights because it's the agenda with the Oscars was fucking ridiculous. Anyways, what are you guys' thoughts? And am I on the right track here? Is there a hypocrisy with some people not really paying attention to what's really going on in Africa and posing, in this case, letting this movie be a champion versus being champions themselves of representing their people in Africa from being slaves? Let me know in the comments below. As usual, like or hate, subscribe if you wish. I really enjoy the comments. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
It's enough about our personal issues.